A big thank you to Moonsoon and Arcane Minis for sponsoring this video. We'll dive more into their awesome project very soon. Hello player! This is Winifred, and she is a blank canvas for my next TTRPG character. Hi! But we're going to build her a bit differently from what you might be used to. At least for me, how much I enjoy the character I'm playing can make all the difference between a game I'm barely holding on to and a game that I'm absolutely obsessed with. But it's hard to anticipate or control how invested I'm gonna be in a character. So I tried to find the sweet spot and create a recipe for a character that without fail I will love to roleplay. One that will get me 10 times more excited about whatever campaign I'm playing in. And as a bonus, that can also spread that excitement and engagement to the entire gaming table. But you have to start with changing your perspective a little bit. A good TTRPG character is in fact not just a character, it has a mechanical purpose as a facilitator. It's your tool and anchor into the game, the vehicle by which you apprehend and appreciate the game, and it should be built with this functional purpose as its priority. The moment we start to build our characters with this interactivity in mind, we completely transform our engagement and investment. You can see it like this. In order to get me invested into the game, Winifred's role is to build bridges. And tonight we'll talk about 3 steps to achieve this. To bridge the gap between the player and the gameplay, to generate emotional involvement, and to enhance our interactions with other players. So let's start at the beginning. Before we can flesh her out, Winifred needs a basic character concept. And the best clues to do that, you get them as early as your game master's elevator pitch or during session 0. Quite early on, you should have a pretty good idea of what actual activities will make up most of the gameplay.
Val, we're gonna play a swashbuckling campaign!
When your game master says that, you can expect action-packed scenes and exploration.
We're gonna play a cozy fantasy campaign.
And here you can expect wholesomeness, character-driven stories, and slice-of-life adventures. On one side, there's the game, and everything we expect will be in it. But on the other side, there's you as a player and all the things you like and dislike about the game. And these two are not always in perfect alignment. My table wants to play a very action-heavy cyberpunk game inspired by the movie Dread. But I'm one of those roleplay and drama lovers who easily gets bored in combat. So how do we get you more invested in the gameplay? Your character can act as a translator here and can help bridge the gap between the two. So I proposed to my GM a character concept that, without disrupting the collective vision that we had for the game, would get me more invested. My character Luca was kind of a gentle giant and an absolute battering ram. He took part in the mission because his boyfriend was captured as hostage by the bad guys, so there was really dramatic incentive. And I had to find a fun way to roleplay him in combat as well. With all his cybernetic enhancements, Luca kind of struggled to see himself as fully human anymore, and didn't really consider his own vulnerability. In combat, he would rush to the front line to protect the real people without any regard for his own safety. Playing this wall-breaking absolute unit of a fighter as kind of a teddy bear was super fun in combat. So how can you translate that for your tastes? Well, first of all, it's always good to actually know what you like and dislike. You can take some time to reflect and even write it down if it helps. Then you just ask your group, what is there gonna be a lot of? Do you like tactical play? Awesome, then bring that into the game by creating a strategist character. Using your gaming tastes as a vehicle can also help you engage more with the plot, which makes your game master happy.
We're gonna play an eldritch horror mystery campaign.
Winifred is going to be in a Call of Cthulhu game with lots of investigation and mystery, so lots of lore and world building, which is cool, but not necessarily my favorite stuff. I'm gonna give Winifred a reason to care and engage with the mystery. Winifred is a young scholar absolutely obsessed with figuring out the truth after having witnessed some paranormal events in her childhood that she cannot explain. No one ever believed her, and she grew up being told that she was either lying or delusional. She wants to prove them all wrong, so you bet she's gonna investigate.
Shame on you.
Oh my god! How?
I am disappointed at your lack of imagination.
Sorry, what?
You are droning on about character creation, and yet you forget about the fun of it.
I'm sorry, since when can you even talk?
Never mind that. But where's your creativity? I mean, imagine you could play as an octopus.
An octopus? You want to play as an octopus?
Yes.
I don't understand.
Well, have you heard of Moonsoon?
Moonsoon is a 5th edition campaign setting transporting us into a remote archipelago filled with ancient ruins, pirates, shamans, and swashbuckling tales. Out there, 12 god moons shape reality itself and exert their influence on the world.
That does sound really cool. And you can play without humans. I don't like humans.
Spanning across 4 hardcover books, it's got 11 new ancestries called anima, 13 new subclasses, and backgrounds as well, like the Tattooist or the Moongazer. There's also 80 new items, 50 monsters, a full-length campaign, and action-packed boss battles against the moon avatars. And you even get a deck of moon cards to bring in dramatic and unexpected twists. Up to you if you embrace the power of the card or you forge your own path.
You know, Val, Moonsoon seems like a world even you couldn't make boring.
Moonsoon is launching today on Kickstarter. If you pledge in the first 72 hours, you receive a free plushie or a set of dice. And all-in backers, they get both. Okay, I'm sold, but if I pledge right now, are you going to cooperate for the rest of the video?
That's all I needed to hear.
If you're ready to pledge, you'll find the link right down there. And thank you again to Moonsoon and Arcane Minis for sponsoring this video. Okay, let's keep going. I think at this point I made it pretty clear that I like roleplay and drama. Who said I was playing for fun? I'm here to cry. Anyways, now that you've got a basic concept, maybe even some backstory ideas, let's get you emotionally invested. Our next step is to find the character's arc and internal struggles, and it has to be something you can find emotional resonance with. We've heard many times that a good character is a flawed one, which is true. We're told about their fatal flaw, and as cool as that sounds, it's pretty vague. What made it easier for me was kind of rephrasing this fatal flaw concept into a fatal insecurity. I find that once I know what the character is insecure about, everything else just falls into place much easier. How they want to be perceived, what they view with disdain, or what they put their faith in. What kind of people they admire and want to impress. From this insecurity, you start to grow the layers of your character's motivations and presentation and decisions. And when you build from this insecurity, don't be scared to look inward and to put some of yourself in the character. When we can relate to them, it makes us even more invested. And it doesn't have to be a direct equal. What's important is to look for the fundamental, universally relatable narratives of being human. Which I promise still apply even if you're playing an elf or an octopus. If we connect with a character, it's not through their epic qualities, it's often because of the shared stories of human experiences and emotion. E.T. may have been an alien, but he just wanted to go home. I don't need to be an alien to get the struggle. As for Winifred, or Young Scholar, Octopus, she wants to prove to the world that it's all real and that she's not crazy. The pursuit of truth is a noble cause, but why is she so intense about it? No one believing her as a child led to a deep sense of estrangement and isolation. It hasn't been easy to form bonds, and she believes that if she can prove she's telling the truth, then she'll finally be accepted. What she's really looking for is just connection. That underlying insecurity and fear of being alone will give us so much more to make decisions during the game, which is the very definition of roleplay. Alright, we've seen how to get invested through gameplay and through heartstrings. Now it's time to share the fun. If you love playing a character, awesome. But it's even better if the whole table loves playing alongside them. I would also argue this kind of falls under our responsibilities as players. In many classic TTRPGs, it's very widespread to believe that entertaining and engaging the players should be the DM's responsibility. And while there's a lot that the Game Master can do, creating an enjoyable and immersive experience should be everyone's job. As players, we shouldn't be passively experiencing the game. We should be a driving force in it and always seek to engage each other. So the key is to establish inherent reasons for your character to interact with and involve other players. Which is really good advice for people like me. Sometimes I'm a bit of a selfish role player. I get so absorbed in the game that I don't always keep track of how everyone is doing at the table. And it's a lot easier remembering to engage other players if it's baked into my character concept. So what's your character's reason for interacting with other players? Winifred, since she's always felt a bit isolated, has grown into a hardcore people pleaser. She worries that once someone really gets to know her, they too would think that she's crazy. So instead, she tries to find out everything that she can about people and what makes them tick. That way she can try and curate herself a persona that they will like. She's constantly researching and taking notes on people, which also makes her really good at deceiving. So she will take the time to ask questions to other player characters and even try and find out their secrets. It gives the player an inherent reason to interact with others and gives others an opportunity to share more about their own character. Ask each player what kind of relationship or trope they would like to have fun with. Maybe you two cultures are fit for a friendly little rivalry. There's so many tropes out there to have fun with. Parental figures, partners in crimes, crushes who will never admit it to each other. And bear in mind that none of these things have to be set in stone. Relationships evolve as the game progresses, and so many new ideas will come in the process. Just like your character, they will change as well. But at the end of the day, the entire table benefits from these efforts to engage each other. And just like for all the stuff that I said in this video, check in with your group, discuss it together, and find the sweet spot that multiplies the fun for everyone. Most importantly, the beauty of it is that none of what we talked about has to happen at the beginning of a campaign. If you already have a game going on and you struggle to be invested, it's never too late. You can always expand on an existing character and find renewed love for the game. And that's all I have to say for tonight. On this note, have a good evening, and may your characters never discover that the scariest monster out there is their own player.